Well, hey, thank you for having us. We really appreciate being here today. We are the Career Pathways team for School District 622, serving our wonderful students in North St. Paul, Maplewood, and Oakdale. Today, we're going to talk to you about a few things, if I can get... There we go. Okay. Today we're going to talk to you about our program and why we think it's important. We are also going to talk about a few recent student successes that happened despite COVID. That's going to really give you a picture into how just tenacious and gritty and wonderful our kids are. And by the time we leave today, we're pretty convinced you're going to want to know more about who they are. We're going to talk about how we can partner together with you. And when we say partner together, we don't mean we're just coming here to ask what you can do for us. We want to make our students work ready and ready for you. So it really is a partnership that we're seeking today, hopefully long term. And then because the four of us that you see here happen to be licensed educators, we would be remiss if we didn't give you a little assignment at the end of all of this, okay? So stay with us, right? It'll be okay. You won't have to take it home with you if you do it here in class, okay? All right, so without further ado, my name is Melissa Jorgensen. I am the Career Pathways Coordinator at Tartan High School. I have been in the district for 25 years, and I am on the board here at the Oakdale Chamber as the Education Liaison. And my Tartan partner is...
I'm Christina Forsythe. I'm at Tartan High School as a WorkBased Learning Coordinator. I've been there 3 years. Prior to that, I worked in higher education, in career development admissions, and then also as an employment counselor at a private consulting firm. And then I'd like to introduce our North High team.
All right. And hi, I'm Danielle Funk, and I'm the WorkBased Learning Coordinator at North High School. I've been working in the district. This is my 18th year. I was previously a special education teacher, and then this is my first year as a WorkBased Learning Coordinator at North High School.
And I'm Beth Stanley. I am the Career Pathway Coordinator over at North High School. This is my 12th year in the district, so I feel a little bit of a newbie still. And I previously was the WorkBased Learning Coordinator, so Danielle and I just kind of, she took my job and I took a new one. So. Okay, this is my slide. I was telling, Melissa says, Beth, you're going to speak in front of a large group of adults, which I'm not really used to. I'm used to speaking in front of students, so I'm a little bit nervous, and I asked Melissa if I had any salad on my teeth. So. Our team serves our entire district. We serve both North High School and Tartan High School, and we work together as a team. And our population in our school is just wonderfully diverse, and not only culturally, but they're diverse in their hopes and their dreams and their plans for their future. And so our pathways work really lies within these pillars, and to help our students discover who they are, those unique talents, and aptitudes that they have, see how they align to the world of work, get them to explore, and then to create their plan. And so I think we're going to go a little bit more in depth into each of these pathways. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is that, you know, the magic really happens when our staff are working with our students, and then we include our families, and then we invite our community in to help us out so that we can all see our students kind of move from just planning to graduate to graduating with a plan.
Say that again. I love that.
Just planning to graduate to graduating with a plan. And we just want to see all our students walk across that graduation stage and know that they've got a plan in place, and we all know plans change, but to give them those skills that they need to navigate those changes once they leave us. So self-discovery. I talked a little bit about having students discover who they are, their unique talents and interests, and kind of seeing how they show up in the world of work, and then helping them to choose courses and activities and events to go to that help support those areas of interest.
So a few years ago, well, this was pre-COVID, so a couple years ago, Beth and I were afforded the opportunity to go to the National ACTE conference. That's a career and tech ed conference together. And so historically, we've been doing education for a long time. Historically, when students would do self-discovery, it was always an interest only inventory, and that served its purposes for the time, but we stumbled across something that we found to be pretty profound and would change the course of what we're doing, and that included it's a series of online brain games called You Science, and it's the science of, you, Y-O-U. And what was different about it is that it included aptitude, so how you're naturally wired, how you show up to the earth. And so the sweet spot would be to take, how you're naturally wired and what you're good at, marry that up with what you love, and then hopefully find a way to get paid for it. So that said, we were able to create a pilot program through, thank you, our district leadership allowed us to do this. And so North and Tartan embarked on this pilot program to administer these brain games to students. And we did it in 2 very different ways, and both were really powerful. But ultimately, more than 1,000 North and Tartan students, during COVID, by the way, completed the self-discovery tool called U-Science. And we'll reference that a little more later because it really comes into just about everything we're doing. And so it was so successful and it went so well, and we are using the data. We can scrape data in a variety of ways to find who our students are, who want to be teachers and such. That this year we are dropping that down into the middle school, which we're pretty excited about. So all 8th graders in all 3 of our middle schools are going to take a version of U-Science brain games called Snapshot. And then all of our 10th graders this year are going to take U-Science as well. And then going forward, we'll continue that. So the hope is that when these kids come to, let's say, course registration, they're making more intentional decisions about the courses they're registering for. I'm going to give you just a quick example. My daughter took U-Science her senior year after I discovered it, and learned that she has a big data brain and a marketing analyst and just all of these business types of things. She didn't take a single business class in high school. No, she's not in this district, but we didn't know. She shows up by interest like her mom. She shows up like a teacher, pastor, counselor. Those are all great things, but some piece was missing. So instead, then she went to UW Eau Claire, which is where she is today, and she's paying to discover whether or not she likes these classes. So of course, I don't know if you guys are loaded or not. I'm not. I don't have that kind of money to send my kid off to college and have her practice there. We'd much rather they practice for free when they're with us. Okay, I see I went off on a tangent already. We get so excited about this that you're gonna have to give us the hook. I apologize.
I'm okay if she speaks more.
We love it.
So when they do that self-discovery, they're going to then see how they kind of align to the world of work, and then we want them to explore while they're with us in high school, so they can see what careers fit them better, what pathways fit them better, and then we want them to just do lots of exploration. And I'm just giving you an example here of one of the exploration things we were able to offer to our students. Actually, this coming this year will be the 3rd time, I believe, that we're going to be involved in this ACE Mentor program. So we had a group of people that came and talked with our district, and they came from LHB Corporation, Mortensen, Wold Architects and Engineering, PCL Construction, Adolphson and Peterson Construction, and they really wanted to give kids experience within architect, construction, and engineering. And so they came in and mentored a small group of students, and it was a project-based competition where they were given a project, they had to develop it, they had to use all the different entities here within the ACE program, and then they competed against several other districts towards the end. It was a wonderful program, and this year 5 of our North and Tartan students were involved in the competition, and the year before that we had about 12 students from North and Tartan, and they actually took 3rd place award during that event. So that's just an example of some of the things that we like to do when we partner with our community. This is a perfect example of that.
Did I mention that this happened during COVID? So these kids were learning in a brand new way, and albeit for a cumbersome way. They were all navigating these uncharted waters, and still they got in their cars and went over to North St. Paul High School every Wednesday for about 3 months and sat next to these industry professionals, and they pulled permits and they did blueprints and they did CAD. And they wouldn't have had to. I mean, these kids are, somebody mentioned, with all that's going on with COVID, and these kids got in their car and went there and they did it. Can I just say, pretty awesome kids. You're gonna wanna know who they are, trust me. Okay, so career planning. This was another thing that happened during COVID. Again, these kids did a full day of learning in this sort of, cumbersome way, and then they went over to Northeast Metro 916 and participated in what we used to call a Certified Nursing Assistant Program, CNA. You've heard of CNA? We call it NAR now. And on a day when we're tired, we don't ever call it NRA, Beth. So we've made them really tired. But so anyway, these kids, again, through U-Science, we discovered that at least at Tartan, close to half of our population scored really high in aptitude and interest in health sciences. And we didn't have anything really to offer them except, traditional science and math classes. So again, our district came through. We partnered with 916. We sent these kids over there and masked up. They participated for months, and several of them earned their industry certification and are now working in our community nursing homes. So that's what I mean about partnering. You know, help us help you. And we are filling up those nursing homes. Oh, I meant to mention, how do I go back? 1 second. The bilingual seals is also pretty important. One of the things we do, and we're trying to build in our district, is certifications. Bilingual seals is a program, my bosses can correct me if I get it a little bit wrong here because it's kind of new to me. So for students who speak another language, they can actually test for a certification in that language. And here's how it benefits them. We had more than 50 students enroll in that exam last spring, and collectively they earned over 423 high school credits, and they're now eligible to earn college credits at the participating Minnesota State colleges and universities. Did I get that right? You can tell me if I didn't. That's astounding. Remember we talked about, I don't know if you have buckets of money, but I don't. If this saved them a few classes in college, why wouldn't we save them money, right? And let them go and honor the fact that they have this wonderful skill of speaking another language. Okay, sorry, that's enough. So now we have to do class activity. Okay, right? So I hope you've had your sin of the inn, because it's delicious. And now it's time to get up and stretch your legs. So we're going to do a quick activity. I'll tell you what it is, and then we will move. So think about what you do for a living right now. Take a look at the 4 pathways that our district has identified. And if you are in the business pathway, would you meet Miss Beth Stanley over in that corner? No, we're not putting baby in the corner. We just are going over to the corner. If you are arts and communication, would you meet Miss Christina over in this corner? If you are of the education, health sciences, and human services persuasion, would you go back to Miss Danielle? And then for those of you in STEM and environment, I will meet you in the back. Jack, it's you and me. That's right. This is a business meeting anyway, so. Hold on, Beth. Let's let them get there. 1 sec. 1 sec, Beth. Okay, we're there. It's just Jack and me over here. What do you, come on over.
You might be in the middle and not sure where you align, and you might be in some different pathways, but as you can see, our business pathway is really, really full. And when we do our analytics with our self-discovery tools, we can find out where our students align within the 4 pathways too. And if we see that we have a ton of students in a certain area, then we know we need to kind of hit that area a little bit harder, right? And find them those experiences. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge you one more time. We're going to make one more movement. Where you are right now, think about what you thought you were going to do coming out of high school. Think about where that might land on the pathways, or if you had a job prior to this, you were in a completely different field. So I'm going to ask you now to move to the other pathway that you thought you were going to do when you were in high school.
Review where those.
I'm STEM and environment.
STEM and environment. Education, health and human services, and arts and communication. So,
People in STEM and environment. See, Mayor, that's so funny.
This illustrates our point.
see that our business corner has got a little lighter, and this is what we try to impress upon our students is that it's okay to change your mind. We're not trying to get students locked into a path. We're trying to get students in, we want them to explore all the different pathways, because this is what happens. We change our mind. And it's okay to change your mind. And so anyway, thank you for participating in that little event. No homework. No homework yet. There will be homework.
Right? Awesome, you did a great job. Good job. 5 minutes? We gotta hustle.
We have 5 minutes.
We gotta hustle. You know what? We can skip some of these the things that are on their table and get to work readiness. Okay. Hey, so last thing I'll say about that is, looks like we're crunched for time because I talked too long. I knew that was gonna happen. So, right, go off on a tangent. The one thing I'll say about this, I think when pathways sort of was the buzzword probably 5 or 10 years ago, the risk was, and some people didn't understand it and they thought we were tracking students. It's not at all what it is. What it does for the 4 of us is it just signals us to get into that lane. And so if if we ended up with a ton of kids that year that were in business, it signals us to spend some time getting the speakers and the tours and the job shadows. We have a responsibility to all 4 pathways, but we can also scrape for data and say who shows up in youth science and business, and we can custom invite them. We can do so do you see that's the point of the pathways? We do in no way track students. So I just will say that we have to be done now, but what we'll tell you is the ways we would love to partner with you and you could partner with us are on your table, and you can also do that on the exit survey. But we want to make sure that our work coordinators have time to chat. Okay.
So I'm Danielle Funk again, and I work at North High School as a work-based learning coordinator, and I'm going to speak on the lines of work readiness. There's a quote on the next slide: find a job, get a job, and keep a job. That's kind of our model that we go by, the 3 buckets that we focus on. Okay. Do
you want me to do this or you do this?
Next slide is our work readiness program. So both Christina and I, as part of our work-based learning coordinator role, is we teach classes to students throughout the day. And part of our work readiness team, like I said, as work-based learning coordinators, as well as job coaches. So we each have 2 job coaches that we send out to work in community jobs or in building jobs with their students. And we serve students with special needs as well as struggling students, okay? And then ways that we're looking to partner with you guys is through our work readiness classes and unpaid work experience as well as paid work experience. And I'll speak on the work readiness classes. So in our classes, we work on resume help, conducting mock interviews, speakers, so having as many guest speakers come in all those different areas. Career pathways is what we're working towards. Having employers come in and help look at resumes and give students tips and pointers on what they could do to improve with those resumes, because they can only hear it so many times from us as their teacher. It would be nice to have the actual employers coming into the classroom so students can hear that as well from them. That really resonates with them. Okay, and then the another big piece is just that exploring different careers, as many as they can at the high school level.
So on the flip side, Danielle mentioned that we prepare students in a classroom setting for job readiness skills. But we also want to see them apply those skills. So we have unpaid experiences and we have paid work experiences that we as work-based learning coordinators oversee and provide to our student body. Side note, just like Beth, I'm not used to speaking, and I asked my students, what advice do you have for me today? And they said, don't lock your knees. And one student was like, why? They're like, oh, she'll pass out. I'm like, oh, thanks. Thank you so much.
They're so honest. I love that.
So honest, yes. But on unpaid experiences, so these are, the students are learning how to be a good employee. And that can be in a school setting, that could be outside in the community. In the school setting, both North and Tartan have a coffee shop for our students. And they get to learn customer service skills, phone skills, cleaning, food service because they're making drinks, stocking, so many of those transferable skills that are applicable to other places of employment. Delivery, I had one student that said today, my favorite part of this job is delivery, I get to walk the halls. Like, no, well, what else do you like? What else is really important to you? So in the coffee shop, there could be different students working in there with different abilities. So we have a job coach. That is one example of how we use our job coaches, is they could be working one-on-one with a student to obtain maybe one skill set. Maybe it's answering the phone, maybe it's just making a drink. But then we have other students in there, maybe for the purpose of confidence. So I do my best with sharing stories, and I know my students love my stories too. But I know my student, one of them, just at the beginning of the year, I just said, hey, how's it going? And she said, yeah, it's okay, Summer. Like, are you working? She's like, no, I'm not good at math. I don't want to work. I'm scared to work. And so I connected with her case manager, and I'm like, we need to get her in the coffee shop. This is going to be a fantastic employee, and she's now in the coffee shop. She was scared of the cash register. She was scared of math. And we started her slowly cleaning, and then making drinks, And now this student is running between passing to come help out when we're the busiest, and she's working the cash register, answering the phone, and doing all these cool skills. And we just approached her yesterday saying, I think you're ready to apply for a job. And she wants to apply at Caribou, and they're hiring down the road. So that's just one example of how we work with our students. Our primary opportunity in school is the coffee shop, but North has a couple others.
Yeah, we have a few others because we're so close to the district ed center. So like inter-office mail routes, just a variety of office type work as well. Just a variety of things that we provide.
And our students are so awesome. So we love to share them with the community as well. So just most recently, I had the opportunity to connect with Pastor Paul at Heartwood Church. And we were just collaborating on mock interviews coming up. But then I said, do you ever see the need at your church for any indoor opportunities for volunteering for our students? They're within walking distance. So cleaning, outdoor maintenance. And he's like, yeah. Yeah.
The blood drive tomorrow.
Yeah, yes.
They could welcome.
So we're partnering with him to provide our students with off-site experiences 2 days a week to obtain those really important job readiness skills to get them better prepared for the workforce. And we're actively seeking community partners to be able to provide volunteer opportunities for our kids, or maybe it's job shadowing, or perhaps it is an informational interview where they learn about the occupation. A lot of them watch shows and think they know about it, but we encourage them to job shadow and learn about it. So, paid work. There's a workforce shortage. So, we have a workforce shortage, and our students are learning key job skills. They can earn elective credit for work, and our students are looking for work. They want to work. So, I would encourage anyone, if you have job openings, to let us know, but to also provide us with your contact information so I can say, hey, Tommy applied online. Do you want to go check out his application? Then we can be in the loop when it comes to did they interview well? What can we work with them on? We worked with SPR Richards. 19 of our students applied there. We had a very valuable partnership in communication with the hiring manager. 5 of them are getting a job there. So
At $17.35 an hour, and after 1 year, it'll be $21 an hour. I'm just saying.
that makes it our selling pitch. So
Yeah, right?
But we also, on top of that, we're learning about the jobs. We're having employers send them in, but it doesn't stop there. If you need support, if you have a student working there and you need support, I just connected with an employer the other day, and a student on a job site needed some support, so we sent a job coach out there to help them with those job readiness skills. So we're also there to help them keep their job as well. So.
Thank you. And so you mentioned, how do we get in touch with them? By the way, this slide, we have we have immediate needs, and I'll just let you look on the table. Take it with you if you like. It is Manufacturing Month, so for the one guy in STEM and environment with me, if you need us to pitch your company, we're happy to do that. But you mentioned, how do we get in touch? Well, there is your assignment, folks, and here's what we're going to do. For those of you who use QR codes, you simply open up your camera and you hold it to that, and then you should, like a new window should open up. We have a quick survey we'd like you to fill out. You may also use one of our, I'll put my computer over there too. So before you leave today, we would love for you to just fill out the document. We're going to offer you all kinds of possibilities, like, do you want to help us with mock interviews? Do you want to help us with internships? Listen. Just because you click on it, it's not obligating you to that. All it's doing is signaling to us that we should have a conversation with you, okay? So we're not going to make you commit. You're not signing on the dotted line. It's just a signal, okay? So please do that. We will take questions while you all are doing this as well. But thank you. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll take your questions if you have time. I know we're out of time. But.
Well, Melissa, do you have any, like, I don't know what the word would be, like liability, like for kids that come and shadow? Like, is there just certain waivers? Or?
It's a great question. We have our district's attorney, not the district attorney, but the 622 attorney for the district, who has a liability letter that we share. So what happens, in short, let's say they were coming to work with you, right? And they're in the work program with them. We have signed off on all the documents to make sure that your company is safe and that the student's ready to go. What would happen is, in the event they would get hurt, they would first go through their family's insurance, right? But we have had an agreement through you, through our signed formal documents that allow them to do those experiences. So there are rules, like for instance, they can't go, if they're not 18, they can't go work at the golf course and drive the golf carts. They can't use a box crusher. I mean, that's just the rules, right? But they can certainly go shadow, they can do a ride along, they can do some of those kinds of things. It's just that Christina and Danielle really have like the 411 on that, but that's a great question. Anybody else? Yeah.
So with the job shortage out there,
You've been out of town. He's not giving you the space.
I'm scorning.
Just ask a question.
So anyway, with the job shortage that is out there, do you have employers just beating your doors down to try and, hey, we need people?
Yes, well, we would like to see more. So a lot of the times what we're seeing is they're letting us know, but we want that direct contact so that we can follow up with them. When we can speak upon an opportunity in detail to our students, they have a lot more buy-in. So when we have the opportunity to go to a company to see the job, then we're talking to them and then they're getting excited. So we do have several employers calling. Our challenge is how do we get this in front of our students? So we're trying to think of creative ways of sharing with our students all these awesome opportunities. So.
Now it's
Can
your
I
turn.
go now?
You could go now.
And I understand the reasoning behind this, but is there any focus or classes or anything that talk about entrepreneurship outside of being an employee in a job, more having understanding business flow, profit and loss, and spreadsheets, and for kids that might say, you know what, I want to go out and start my own business when I get out of high school.
I can think of 3 opportunities, and maybe you guys have more. Both buildings have a class called Entrepreneurship, taught by Craig Sprider. I know you know him.
Yep.
And somebody over at North, I don't know who at North. Kelly Potoff teaches that. That's option number 1. Option number 2, we didn't really mention that we have a pretty substantial online learning program right now, and it's a little overwhelming. However, it also is freeing these kids up with their schedule so that they can embark on some of these opportunities that they traditionally haven't been able to in a 6-period day. And I suspect they could do probably an online version of that, maybe asynchronous or a hybrid version. The third option is we always like the kids to take the classes they can in our buildings because we think we have a lot to offer. In addition to that though, and you'll meet the principal next month, but 916 Career and Tech Ed has an entrepreneurship program, so they can go there as well. So let's say they took it in our building as a junior, they can then go to 916 as a senior. And by the way, so for those of you who were here last month, we had Compass MN here and they talked about the workforce and the workforce shortage, and they gave us some important data about the shortage we're about to embark on. So we felt like this was a good part too, and then that's why we invited Jill Stewart-Keller for 916 for next month, because that is the Career and Tech Ed part where they have over 20 hands-on programs. So yes, we have some options. But they should come to you though and shadow.
And we're looking for